Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something, well, pretty monumental.
Mm,
It's Donald Trump's newly proposed legislation. You might have heard it called the Big, Beautiful Bill.
that's the one.
And our sources show this isn't just, minor adjustments. It's a huge package, and it's really stirring things up. We've got a close look at what's inside and what it might mean.
Exactly. And our goal here is really to unpack what the bill actually says based on our sources. We want to understand why it's getting this fierce reaction, both politically and from the public,
Right.
and explore the potential impacts. Just sticking to the info we have, impartially. No taking sides here.
Okay, let's dig in. So this sweeping scope, it seems to cover so much ground. What's the first big thing that jumps out from the sources?
Well, probably the core of it is extending those Trump-era tax cuts,
Mm.
a really extensive extension.
Okay.
Our sources point out that while, yes, they affect many taxpayers, they seem to heavily favor wealthier Americans. Things like lower capital gains, inheritance taxes.
So potentially widening the income gap further.
That's the concern highlighted. Yeah, it's like doubling down on that fiscal approach, not just continuing it.
Got it. So big implications for finance. But it's not just taxes, is it?
Oh, definitely not. What's also really striking is the plan for strict work requirements for programs like Medicaid and SNP.
Right, the health safety net and food assistance.
Exactly. And critics are, well, deeply concerned. The worry is this could push millions of people off basic health and food aid,
Wow.
which would obviously hit vulnerable families pretty hard.
Yeah, that sounds like a massive potential change to social services. And looking to the sources, it branches out even further into areas I wouldn't expect to see bundled together.
It does. There are significant cuts to clean energy incentives, and then almost in the same breath, removing regulations on AI development and gun silencers.
Wait, AI and gun silencers together?
The sources flag that pairing as highly unusual. It raises questions about, AI bias going unchecked, security risks, and then the obvious public safety angle with firearms.
That is an odd mix. And I'm also seeing billions for border security, tighter immigration rules,
Yeah.
and expanding school voucher systems for private education.
It really does read like a sort of conservative policy checklist. Border, school choice, deregulation,
Yeah.
all wrapped up in one bill.
Okay, so with all this packed in, the money side must be huge. What are the projections on the cost?
They're pretty staggering. Our sources are projecting this could add somewhere between $2.4 trillion and $3.9 trillion to the national debt
Trillion over 10 years.
over the next decade, yeah.
Yeah.
To give you some scale, sources suggest that's like adding the entire GDP of Germany to the U.S. debt.
That's quite a number.
And it's not going unnoticed. We're seeing reports, even figures like Elon Musk apparently calling it financially reckless.
Right.
It definitely raises big questions about, long-term fiscal health.
Which naturally leads to the controversy swirling around it. Opponents are framing it as, favoring the rich, hurting the poor.
That's the narrative, yeah. Some are even calling it a reverse Robin Hood situation, undermining public welfare.
And there are also concerns about how it's being pushed through.
Yes, that's a major point in our sources. The speed, concerns that it's bypassing proper debate, committee reviews, public input. And what's really interesting is that it's not just Democrats. Several Republican senators are apparently raising alarms.
Really? Even within the party?
Yeah, warning about damage to the party's image, maybe even undermining legislative norms. It suggests perhaps a deeper split than usual.
So the political fallout sounds intense. Divisions in both parties, public backlash growing, especially around those healthcare cuts you mentioned.
Absolutely. The speed and just the sheer size of this bill are prompting serious questions about transparency, accountability. Can something this big be properly vetted this quickly?
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. The key takeaways seem to be Trump's big, beautiful bill is, massive. It's moving fast, and it's incredibly polarizing. Positioned as a win for conservative ideas, but opponents see it hitting social services hard, blowing up the deficit, and potentially hurting millions, all with the 2024 election heating up.
Right. And considering that speed and how wide-ranging the impacts could be, it really makes you think about the balance, doesn't it, between pushing through ambitious laws and, the basic democratic process of debate and scrutiny.
Yeah.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener. When you see legislation like this, so comprehensive, moving so quickly, what stands out most to you about that process? And what might that suggest about how policy gets made in the future and how we even learn about it?